Hello English students. Welcome to your English class number 16, advanced level. Alright, so we start this class with some slangs in English. Okay, so grand is a slang for dollars. Example, could you lend me 1,000 grand? Crash is a slang to sleep. Example, can I crash here? Red is slang for awesome. Example, that trip was red. Douchebag or douche is slang for idiot, only for men, okay? Only men can be douchebags. Example, don't be such a douche. All right? Perfect. So, we have here a text about the Summer Olympics. So for us, we just say Olympic Games, right? But for people from the North Hemisphere who are from the countries that participate from the Winter Olympics, you have to be specific about which Olympic Games you're talking about, because for them, they are equally important, all right? So that's why we say here Summer Olympics. Very good. So, the Summer Olympic Games is a major international multi-sports event held by different nations every 4 years. The most recent Olympics took place in Rio, Brazil, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, in 2016. The next Olympic game was supposed to happen between July and August 2020 in Tokyo, Japan, but it was cancelled due to the coronavirus pandemic. Fun fact is that Tokyo was going to be the host city for the games in 1940, but the games were cancelled back then due to World War II. A sad coincidence that the same thing happened to the same city 80 years later, although the reason for the cancellation is completely different. The first edition of the Olympic Games happened in 1896 in Athens, Greece. Never before an international event of this magnitude had been organized. Even though it was a great accomplishment to put together an event like this over 120 years ago, it is nothing compared to what it is today. The competition has increased in scope from a 42 competition event program with fewer than 250 male competitors from 14 nations in 1896 to 306 events with 11,238 competitors, 6,179 men, and 5,059 women from 206 nations in 2016. Female athletes were not allowed to compete during the first Olympics, though one woman, Stamata Hevic, ran the marathon course on her own, saying, "If the committee doesn't let me compete, I'll go after them regardless." Continuing, slide number 4. In 1900, the second edition of Olympics took place in Paris, France. And this time, women were allowed to compete, although only in 2 categories, tennis and golf. After the World War II in 1948, the event was held by the city of London, England. Both Japan and Germany were excluded from this competition because, they were the enemies from everybody, right? The World War was Japan and Germany against all the other countries. So that's why they did not participate of this competition after the World War II. In 1965, Tokyo hosted the first broadcast worldwide competition, enabled by the recent advent of communication satellites. In 1980, the city of Moscow, Russia, was the host for the Olympics. It was followed by the Soviet Union's 1979 invasion of Afghanistan, which led to 66 nations, including the United States, Canada, West Germany, and Japan, to boycott the Games. 80 nations were represented at the Moscow Games. It was the smallest number since 1956. The boycott contributed to the 1980 Games to be less publicized and less competitive, being dominated by the host country. Despite the controversy of the game, it had one of the most remarkable mascots, the Misha Bear. It especially touched people around the world at the closing ceremony, when its mosaic, made by colored plates and controlled by people on the grandstand, using perfect moves, sheds a tear of goodbye. If you have never seen this mascot, search online. It's super cute. It's the cutest mascot I've ever seen. And this scene, this is very touching as well. I really like this scene when it's like shedding a tear of goodbye. Alright, number 5. The United States has hosted the Summer Olympic Games 4 times. The 1904 Games was held in St. Louis, Missouri. In 1932 and 1984, Games were both held in Los Angeles, California, and 1996 Games were held in Atlanta, Georgia. The 2028 Games in Los Angeles will mark the 5th occasion on which the Summer Games have been hosted by the US. In 2004, the Olympic Games returned to their birthplace in Athens. At least $7.2 billion was spent on the 2004 Games, including $1.5 billion on security. A third of the tickets failed to sell, but ticket sales still topped figures from Seoul and Barcelona Olympics, 1988 and 1992. Asia has hosted the Summer Olympics 3 times. In Tokyo, 1964, Seoul, South Korea, 1988, and Beijing, China, in 2008. The 2016 Games in Rio de Janeiro were the inaugural Summer Olympics to be held in South America, and the first that was held completely during the winter season. The only 2 countries in Southern Hemisphere who have hosted the Summer Olympics have been Australia in 1956 and 2000, and Brazil in 2016. The continent of Africa hasn't yet hosted a Summer Olympics. So here we saw some important facts from the Olympics over the years, and here we're gonna show more important facts by the athletes. Okay, so important facts. The first woman to win a golden medal in an Olympic game was Charlotte Cooper. A British tennis player reached this important achievement in 1900 Games in Paris. The first black person to win a golden medal was John Baxter Taylor Jr., an American track and field athlete. He got this medal in 1908 in London. The Paralympic Games were first introduced in Rome, 1960. Ian Miller, a Canadian equestrian, holds the record for most Olympic appearances by any athlete in any sport, 10. He broke the record in his 10th Games participation in London 2012. First Olympics he participated was in 1972. The athlete who holds the record in number of Olympic medals is Michael Phelps. The American swimmer collects 28 medals. So 28 medals total, and 23 of these medals were gold medals from 4 Olympics. He is also the oldest swimmer to win a golden medal as individual in the history of the Games. He was 31 years and 40 days old when he won the butterfly style competition in 2016. So we are very fortunate to have the chance to watch this god of Olympic Games. The country that holds the most Olympic medals is the United States, 2,826, followed by the Soviet Union, 1,204, and Germany, 992. The city that hosted the most Olympics is London, 3 times, 1908, 1948, and 2012. Alright, so slide number 7, we have the whole cities for the Olympic Games. So this is just for curiosity. Okay, we have all the cities. So we have Athens, Greece, Paris, France, St. Louis, USA, London, England, Stockholm, Sweden, Antwerp, Belgium, Paris, France, Amsterdam, Netherlands, Los Angeles, United States, Berlin, Germany, London, England, Helsinki, Finland, Melbourne, Australia, Rome, Italy, Tokyo, Japan, Mexico City, Mexico, Munich, West Germany, Montreal, Canada, Moscow, Soviet Union. So back then Moscow was still Soviet Union, wasn't Russia yet. Los Angeles, United States, Seoul, South Korea, Barcelona, Spain, Atlanta, United States, Sydney, Australia, Athens, Greece, Beijing, China, London, England, Rio, Brazil. So the next Olympic Games is going to be Tokyo. So it was postponed to 2021. And 2024 it's going to take place in Paris, again, France. And in 2028 it's gonna go back to LA in the United States. All right. And slide number 8, we have the video vocabulary. So it doesn't have many different words. You just have to pay attention because the guy on the video, he speaks very fast. So it's gonna be good for you to train your listening because he speaks super fast. So, but I think you're gonna be able to understand and answer the questions, all right? Okay guys, so I see you in live class. Hope you like it. See you. Bye bye.